So I got this comment from one of my listeners, Michael Sutherland 5848. Coding with AI is amazing once you figure out that it's a wrench, not an oracle. Vibe coders demand the oracle. End quote. So I've been talking a bit about my thoughts on AI trends and movements that we've been seeing, and I've been really surprised at how polarizing it is. The best compliment I get is when you guys give me your thoughts in the comments. I answer all of them personally, but let me give you an example of one comment that I really agreed with and want to highlight. So again, Michael Sutherland 5848 commented, coding with AI is amazing once you figure out that it's a wrench, not an oracle. Vibe coders demand the oracle. End quote. Now, I totally agree with this. As I've said all along, I tell my devs, AI won't replace you, but developers who know how to use it might. So today I'm going to dig in and go through comments that I found interesting, insightful, and even some I totally disagree with. But this will be a super fun video because it's from you guys, which I super appreciate. So this is a fun one because I'm just going through your guys' comments and giving you guys my thoughts. So let's dive in. Welcome to Startup Pack. I'm Spencer, and here at Startup Pack, we train software developers and build custom software solutions for companies. With a decade of executive leadership as a fractional CTO and 25 years of software development, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. All right. So again, Michael Sutherland's comment here, I really liked it. Quote, coding with AI is amazing once you figure out that it's a wrench, not an oracle. Vibe coders demand the oracle. So when you use a wrench, you don't expect it to tell you which bolt you need to tighten. You already know that from your expertise and your diagnosis. AI works exactly the same way. It amplifies your capabilities, but requires your direction, judgment, and validation at every step. In my 25 years of software development, I've seen countless tools promised as magic bullets, but they all eventually found their proper place as useful tools, not requirements or replacements for human expertise. The developers excelling with AI today are those who approach it as a specialized tool in their toolkit, not as a replacement for hard-earned expertise. So when you shift from seeing AI as an oracle to seeing it as a wrench, your entire relationship with the technology transforms from the dependency to empowerment. And man, I've been getting a lot of hate on you guys who think I don't really like AI. It's kind of funny. Now, next one here is AI tools confidently generate code that looks perfect but contains subtle, devastating errors that only become apparent when systems crash in production. Now, I recently watched an AI confidently generate a simple list from 1 to 20 that somehow skipped number 14 and then insisted 14 was there when it got questioned. These hallucinations aren't rare edge cases. They're fundamental limitations of systems that predict patterns without understanding meaning or consequences. Remember, AI is designed to tell you what you want to know. Its whole goal is statistically to try to give you what you are looking for. So if it knows that you want good code, it's going to try to do its best, but ultimately if you keep prompting it, it's going to eventually give you what you want, right? And that's what it's designed for, is to statistical pattern matching. So the problem compounds exponentially when you move from isolated code snippets to complex interconnected systems where errors cascade unpredictably. Now, skilled developers aren't being replaced by AI. They're becoming more valuable as the complexity of verifying and integrating AI outputs becomes a critical skill. The real competitive advantage isn't replacing developers with AI, but teaching developers to wield AI like a master craftsman wielding their tools with precision, confidence, and judgment. Now, Simon was an AI developer, and this is another comment from a listener, right? He said this, he shared this interesting perspective. He said, I'm an AI developer, wasted my 5 years of my life on this garbage. Parameters and more data, that's the ethos of AI. The science is almost non-existent. AI should be labeled as engineering and not science. I thought that, end quote. I thought that was a really interesting take on this, right? Because I do agree here that AI is engineering. It's not science. The engineering is this intricate pattern match that I'm talking about, but it is not scientific because scientific has proofs and is repeatable. Engineering means that you do something and you could potentially get different outcomes. With science, you should do it at the same time and it should always give you the same outcome. Now, most people fundamentally misunderstand what's happening inside of these systems. They're not reasoning or understanding. They're performing sophisticated pattern matching at unprecedented scale. The gap between AI's perceived intelligence and its actual capabilities creates dangerous blind spots where we trust outputs without proper verification. Let me repeat that. We trust the output without proper verification. See, the problem is these are designed to statistically give us word salad, right? And if we trust that blindly, you're getting just that. So in my decades of development experience, I've learned that understanding limitations is often more important than understanding capabilities. capabilities when deploying any new technology. This knowledge gap is widening as marketing hype outpaces technical reality, creating dangerous expectations that these tools can operate autonomously. Skilled developers aren't threatened by AI. They're becoming exponentially more valuable as they bridge this gap between perception and reality. So the problem that I'm seeing is I see a lot of C-levels who are watching CNN and saying, oh, I guess I can go fire all my developers now, right? Now, another commenter, Didier, nailed it with this comment. He said, you're right, but in the right hands, AI will improve coding velocity. AI is a tool, not the solution. And I agree with that. What I'm seeing right now is I see a lot of people who are saying, oh, I got this cool solution. And they don't even know the problem yet, and they keep trying to plug AI into things. So I'm consulting with people all the time who are wanting to do with consulting, because here at Startup Hack, we actually love building custom software for folks. So they hit me up, and because you can hit me up on startuphack.com/Spencer. So they do this, and I give them a consultation, which I'm happy to do. But then as I work with them, they're like, well, I really want to use AI for my business. And as I start to break it down, I'm like, actually, you just need to collect some data and do some basic queries against it. You don't need AI for that. That's the problem. Is everybody thinks AI is their solution right now, when some general basic software development patterns or basic data collection, in this case, the last one I consulted with actually just needed to do better in his Excel spreadsheets. But anyways, history consistently shows that tools don't replace craftspeople. They elevate what craftspeople can accomplish while shifting the focus to higher level changes. Every major technological breakthrough initially sparked fears of job replacement before ultimately creating more jobs than it eliminated. So in 25 years of software development, I've watched this pattern repeat with compilers, frameworks, cloud platforms, and now AI, each making developers more valuable, not less. The most successful teams I've built don't use fewer developers with AI. They accomplish vastly more ambitious projects with the same team size. The winners in this transition won't be those who see AI as a replacement for human creativity, but those who harness it and as an amplifier of human potential. Now, if your company has systems that aren't connected, reach out to us, because here at Startup Hack, our specialty is connecting systems to help your company work like a well-oiled machine. And if an AI agent makes sense, we can help you get it implemented. But I'm not just plugging that in everywhere I get a chance to. Okay. Another one, Louis Hott said, quote, AI has made amazing progress over the past 6 months. And this is a comment I actually mostly disagree with, but I'm going to go ahead and read it here. He says, AI has made amazing progress over the last 6 months. It used to work at best 90% on simple tasks. Now it does simple tasks 90 to 100% accuracy. Or excuse me, 99% to 100% accuracy. Hard tasks are done 90% accurately now. They fixed the context problem. 6 months ago, AI could only work on 100 lines of code at a time. Now it does 5,000 lines, no problem. That's a 50x improvement in 6 months. Okay, hold the phone here, because there's like so much broken in this comment that it made my skin crawl. So first of all, are they getting better at hooking LLMs into various use cases? Yes, we are seeing an AI agent explosion right now. And it's really exciting, because I think LLMs are super exciting technology. I'm very excited by how we can use these. I'm using these with clients right now to build out some really cool software and do some data matching and pattern matching that we couldn't do before LLMs. So have the LLMs been hooked up to various better use cases? 100%. Now, have the models gotten better? They've gotten better, but not a lot, right? We're seeing a ton more hallucination, and the models are continuing to struggle. Now, he said they fixed the context problem. No, they didn't really fix the context problem. The context problem still exists. You can't shove the entire context into every window. There's a limited, finite amount you can put into the context. That's part of the problem with AI. They have this limited viewpoint. My 25 years of experience cannot be fit into a context window for an LLM. So he says that that's a 50x improvement in 6 months. No, adding, 50 times more RAM to your computer does not make your computer 50 times better. They did make the context window a little bit bigger, and so it has allowed AI, the LLMs, to work against this a little bit differently. But saying that the 90% simple tasks and now 99% accuracy, absolutely not. Hallucination rates are up. Go check out OpenAI's latest release with 4.0 and their hallucination rates. And I've talked about this on previous channels, or previous videos. So make sure you like and subscribe, because I have addressed this one. This is absolutely not a case. There's almost nothing this guy said is actually accurate. The true measures of AI's progress isn't benchmark scores, but practical capability in messy, real-world environments where perfection isn't an option. Now, Kevin Naughton Jr., who's a prominent software engineer on X that I follow, recently warned, quote, "People learning to code today solely with AI and LLMs are in for a rude awakening," end quote. And the very first comment on his post I really liked, almost as much as the original quote, because he said, "Did your project get too hard for it? Good. That's how you know it's real." So let me restate that. His commenter said, "Did the project get too hard for AI to work on it? Good. That's how you know it's a real project." If you know you're hitting a limit where it needs a human, that's a great project. And you know you're actually building real software, not just some regurgitated boilerplate code. When training wheels come off and you're faced with novel problems without clear patterns and training data, AI suggestions quickly deteriorate in quality. I've mentored a lot of developers, and those who understand that underlying principles consistently outperform those who rely on copying patterns without comprehension. The most valuable skill in development isn't writing perfect code. It's knowing how to troubleshoot and fix code when things inevitably go wrong. Developers who use AI as a learning accelerator rather than a substitute for understanding are positioning themselves for long-term success as the technology continues to evolve. Now, let's dive into another comment because I'm having a lot of fun with these. In case you can't tell today, I'm having a lot of fun. So, guys, make sure you leave comments because this just, I get hyped up when I know you guys are listening because this just makes me super excited. So I can't pronounce this guy's name, but he raised a fascinating concern. He said, quote, "When machine learning learns from data already generated by AI, we will suffer quality in AI. We'll also suffer a dumbing down of the population." I kind of want to hit 2 points here, right? He predicted a two-tier system where elite devs who can fix the dumbing down of AI data and dumb down devs who can do near zero without AI assistance. The feedback loop is already happening. AI training on AI-generated content is creating increasingly bland, homogeneous outputs lacking original thinking. And that is happening. We're having a problem where we're reaching the limit of data. And I know everyone's like, oh, the data triples on the internet every day or something like that. But I'm talking about reliable data, trainable data that you can train these AI models on. So I've noticed that tools that reduce the need for fundamental understanding eventually create massive technical debt. The real risk isn't AI replacing developers. It's creating a generation of developers who can't function effectively without AI assistance. So the most valuable developers in this new landscape will be those who maintain deep understanding while leveraging AI to handle routine, boring tasks. Now, another Hamish shared something that I thought was really awesome. He shared his perspective from a mainframe developer. So this is a guy who is a mainframe developer. He said, "Since the invention of the PC, I've been told innumerable times that the mainframe is dead. They're still going strong in big businesses and in fact have never been as important as they are now." Now, I think this perfectly illustrates how technology rarely replaces each other completely. They find specialized niches where their unique strength provides lasting value. The mainframe story teaches us the most reliable prediction about technology is that dramatic, quote, "end of an era" prediction usually turns out wrong. In my decades of development experience, I've watched countless technologies predicted to die continue thriving in specialized contexts where they excel. New layers of abstraction don't replace fundamentals. They build upon them, creating more complexity and more need for specialized expertise. The most successful developers aren't those who chase every new trend, but those who understand how to integrate new capabilities with proven foundations, and those who understand the business context, there's that word context again, the business context around building software. And that's where AI will never be able to understand it, no matter how big its context window is. Now, if your company has systems that aren't connected and you need some help with some of these business contexts into software problems, reach out, because here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers and also to build custom software solutions. So check out startuphack.com/Spencer because we can help you out. Now, Sammy Lee 99 made a brilliant observation. He said, "We will go full circle at some point, like organic food and processed food, there will be made by human labels because we all know it makes sense." This insight cuts right to the heart of why human developers will remain essential. Genuine understanding and intentionality create fundamental differences resulting from the statistical approximation. If you don't believe me, check out what's going on with like AI images. If you're running an ad and you use an AI generated image, your ad will perform worse than real generated images. I've even seen it with my thumbnails. When I use a thumbnail that has AI, that's purely generated with AI, the video performs worse than the videos where I have a thumbnail that shows my face or a real set of images, right? This is a real thing. The Bureau of Labor Statistics still projects 17% growth in software developers' jobs from 2023 to 2033. And this is almost 4 times some of the next categories in closest of where the growth is going to be. So this is hardly the job apocalypse that many are predicting. Now, let's even just say they were wrong. Now, let's say it was only 2x the nearest growth rate. But this is still the highest growth rate of any career right now, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So throughout my career leading development teams, I've consistently found the human element of curiosity, creativity, and care translate into measurable, better outcomes. As AI handles more routine coding tasks, the premium on uniquely human capabilities like empathy, ethical judgment, and creative problem solving increases dramatically. I literally just got off a phone call right before I made this video with a team of 4 senior software developers. Jokingly in the middle of the team, I said, hey, why don't you guys give that to AI and let the AI handle that problem? They all laughed. And these are 4 senior developers who all use AI. We were working with a very complex problem. There wasn't a chance AI was going to touch this one. The highest performing teams I've built don't minimize human involvement. They strategically focus expertise where it creates the most distinctive value. Now, to be fair, I did say, hey, we need to take that one table and change it into a JSON store. Why don't you have AI do that? That might be something AI could do. The rest of the stuff, no way. Now, a listener named RMT shared this perfect analogy. He said, it's like taking a picture of an engineering structure like a bridge and trying to recreate it without understanding in a different context. Would you want to drive over a bridge that somebody said, well, I fed this to AI and, let it generate this and do all the statistical analysis for us. And yeah, sure, it's safe for us to drive over. Not a chance. So RMT continued and said, sounds like it can work till a cord snaps due to tension or goes slack when it was supposed to be in tension or load bearing on the wrong part. This is a great analogy, and it captures why AI-generated code often fails in production. It mimics patterns without understanding the underlying principles that makes those patterns works. Again, it's just statistical analysis to try to give you what you want to hear. So I've learned that superficial similarity upon masks critical function difference that only become apparent under stress. The most catastrophic failures I've witnessed weren't from obvious bugs, but from subtle misalignments between components that looked correctly individual. This is precisely why even Bill Gates, despite his enthusiasm for AI, acknowledges that software engineering remains too complex for AI to handle without human oversight. In the last couple of days, we've seen both Microsoft and Google both launch massive fronts with AI agent tools, and yet every single one of them said they still need to be managed by human developers. GitHub CEO recently emphasized that coding is just one small part of software development. The real complexity lies in understanding how components work together. The hardest problems I've solved in my career weren't writing individual functions. They were diagnosing and fixing integration issues between seemingly correct components. AI excels at generating isolated snippets, but struggles with big picture understanding needed to create cohesive, maintainable systems. Now, a cool use case that I have been using AI for is I had one disparate set of data and another disparate set of data, and I needed to link the two, but there was no linking IDs. There was soft strings that could be matched by a human, but I've never been able to find a query that would be able to match these two. Using some powerful LLMs, we've gotten to a really high percentage of match rates. This is a great example of where software developers can take AI, build out some really strong prompts, and do some cool stuff with some of these LLMs. So I'm really excited by the future of this because this is a set of data I would never have been able to programmatically match before. The most valuable developers on my teams aren't necessarily those who write the most code. They're those who best understand how different parts of the system interact. This systems thinking becomes even more critical as we build increasingly complex applications with more moving parts. Mastering the integration challenges requires a deep understanding of not just what code does, but why it does it, something AI fundamentally lacks. So every major technology shift in my 25-year career has followed the same pattern. Initial fears of replacement followed by a new equilibrium where humans and tools work together. The developers thriving today aren't fighting against AI. They're strategically leveraging it to handle routine tasks while focusing their expertise on higher value problems. This partnership between human creativity and AI productivity is creating unprecedented possibilities that neither could achieve alone. Again, Bureau of Labor Statistics projecting 17% growth on this through 2033. Companies that attempt to replace developers with AI have largely reversed course, discovering that AI works best as an amplifier of human capabilities, not as a replacement. The future belongs not to AI alone or humans alone, but to those who master the art of collaboration between human creativity and machine capabilities. Now, as I've said, this whole video is because you guys gave me your comments. Keep giving me those awesome comments. I love getting your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I love to have a great discussion, and I answer every one of these myself. Here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers as well as to build custom software solutions for companies. Reach out because we'd love to help. You can check out startuphack.com/Spencer, and here's some great information about services that we offer.
Hi, my name is Spencer Thomason, and I'm a fractional CTO. With over a decade of executive leadership and a solid 25 years in software development, I've mastered the art of transforming technology teams and products. So what is a fractional CTO? This is where you can contract someone like myself to come into your organization and get the benefits of a seasoned CTO without having to employ me full time. In today's fast-paced world, efficiency, security, and product scaling aren't just goals, they're necessities. My passion is building impactful products and enhancing organizational efficiencies through technology. From startups to small businesses, my approach leverages lean methodologies to not just meet but exceed your strategic goals. Whether it's through executive mentoring, cloud system architecture, or launching a minimum viable product swiftly, my aim is to make a significant impact right from the start. Recognized in the Arizona startup ecosystem, my journey has been about creating value and fostering innovation. I have led technology for companies like GoDaddy, SRP, and Wells Fargo and turned challenges into milestones. I've taken this learning and launched 7 of my own brands, and now I want to help you. So if you're looking for a fractional CTO who brings a wealth of experience, strategic vision, and a proven track record, let's connect. Together we can build technology that not only drives your business forward, but also makes a difference. Technology leadership redefined to fit your needs. So reach out today.